YouTube. I have a fresh new deck profile for you, and this deck is going to be an Ice Barrier Dinomist deck. If you want a deck that makes the Ice Barriers much more relevant in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! By playing to their strengths, or if you just want to run a water deck that has access to the rank 4 and 7 water-exclusive monsters with relative ease, then this is the deck for you. So let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. Obviously, Dinomists are a pendulum-based archetype, so pendulums are going to be a big part of this, not just with the Dinomists, but with Dragonpit Magician. For one, he's water. He's level 7. This is a big deal because that allows him to go into some rank 7 plays with our other level 7s, Gantala, and Medium of the Ice Barrier. So we're going to run 3 of Dragonpit Magician. He's Pendulum Scale 8, which between him and the lowest level Dinomists, or lowest Pendulum Scale Dinomists, like Stegosaurer and Pteran, that allows you to summon level 4 to 7 monsters, which covers the entire Ice Barrier archetype, as well as all of the Dinomists. Well, it does not grab Prior of the Ice Barrier, but that doesn't matter because of his effect. Fishborg Launcher, same, doesn't really matter because of his effect. So, 3 Dragon Pits. We have 1 Sea Turtle Kaiju for obvious reasons. Kaiju is your best way to get over unbeatable monsters. Just tribute it. This could definitely be subbed out if you don't want to run a Kaiju in the deck, and it really has its place in the side deck. But I found just having one in the main deck most of the time was pretty useful to have. So moving on, we had 2 General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. Pretty much the best boss monster of the Ice Barrier archetype. During the end phase, can resurrect an Ice Barrier monster from the graveyard. So pretty solid. Leads you into some more rank 7, some rank 4 plays. Medium of the Ice Barrier allows you to, for one, be special summoned from the hand if your opponent controls more than 4 cards more than you. And also, your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap card per turn. This is moderately useful. Most of the time, I use it for rank 7 plays, but occasionally it can come in handy with shutting your opponent down if they have a pendulum-based deck, for example. 3 Dinomist Pterans. Fantastic card. Probably, definitely in this deck, the best playmaker from the Dinomist side of things. When destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add 1 Dinomist card from your deck to your hand. Great to search out a Dinomist Charge, put it on the field, which allows you to search another Dinomist monster from your hand. So you can search the magic card, which also allows you to recycle Dinomists, and go ahead and, as well as recycling your Dinomist, allows you to search a Dinomist when it's activated. So great for getting your pendulum scales up. If you don't have them when you start, you can use this Pteran and turn it into getting your pendulum scales set. Okay. Next is Dinomist Plesios. Plesios is going to be a pendulum scale 6, which does obviously cut off your level 7s from being summoned, but it does get all of your level 4s out. But also, so while that's important to be able to get all your level 4 monsters out, which is significant, it does have the same, Dinomist ability of being destroyed. You can destroy the card instead, just like Pteran and Stegosaurer have variants of being destroyed instead of your other Dinomist cards on the field being destroyed, which is very useful. As well as, as a monster, has the ability to drain your opponent's attack and defense for, however many Dinomist cards you control, which comes really well in combo with Ragna 0 in the extra deck, as I'll explain later. We have Dance Princess of the Ice Barrier. We have 2 of those, which generally you don't get to use her effect much, but she could definitely be subbed for maybe Samurai if you want a little more attack, Samurai of the Ice Barrier. But I like Dance Princess because every once in a while returning set cards could be useful, but I didn't end up using it much in this deck. However, she's great for the rank 4 plays, as well as all of the level 4 monsters are. Dinomist Stegosaurer, pretty much the same as Pteran and Plesios, but without nearly as good monster effects. when another pendulum monster you control battles with an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, destroy both monsters. I suppose this could occasionally come in handy if you want to attack with Dragonpit, who's quite weak, and then just pendulum summon him again later from the extra deck, but I didn't end up using that much. So again, he's pendulum scale 3, level 4, great for the rank 4 plays. Strategist of the Ice Barrier. He is, in my opinion, the biggest playmaker from the Ice Barrier side, being able to send one Ice Barrier from your hand to your graveyard to draw one card. Doesn't seem incredibly useful, but you definitely draw into a lot of combos with it. That's why I run 3. Great combo. Simple is you go ahead, if you have start with a strategist and prior who can be tributed from the fields to revive an Ice Barrier from the graveyard, you go ahead, you have strategist dump a Gantala from your hand to draw a card, and then you go ahead and summon prior of the Ice Barrier, tribute him, bring out Gantala, and nice easy combo, and you got to draw as well. So 3 strategists, because he has plenty of targets in the deck to send to the graveyard, especially when you use your medallions of the Ice Barrier to search more Ice Barrier monsters. Okay, prior of the Ice Barrier, as I said, is pretty much a monster reborn. For Ice Barrier monsters, good to have 2 of them. Fishborg Launcher works really well in this deck. It's a tuner, level 1, pretty much just in the deck to get Trishula out. Because all the monsters in the main deck and many of the extra deck monsters are water, this card can be used, it can be special summoned from the graveyard if all the cards in your graveyard are water monsters. So you can send them to the graveyard early with Foolish Burial, which is another way to use prior, by the way. Foolish Burial, go ahead and send maybe Fishborg to the graveyard and go ahead and make a synchro play, or you can use Foolish Burial to send Gantala or another Ice Barrier and revive them with prior. But as for Fishborg, that's his use, is to get out Trishula. Instant Fusion, 2 of those. Yes, if you use one on the Norden, which is the only target you have, the other one will be dead, but you can just pitch it for Twin Twister. It definitely helps to have 2. Norden is very good in this deck, and most of the time you have at least 1 level 4 monster in your graveyard. So you can go ahead and make a rank 4 play with him, because he is water, which allows you to go into some of your rank 4 water Xyz monsters, which is really nice, and all your other level 4s are water as well. And you can or you can use him to get Trishula out as well. Go ahead and resurrect another level 4, and then either summon Fishborg or have him revive himself as well, and go ahead and get Trishula out. Very useful in the deck. Definitely a playmaker. Raigeki stands for itself. Upstart Goblin at 1. Summoner's Art, just another way to go ahead and search out Dragonpit. It's pretty much just having 4 Dragonpits in the deck as opposed to 3. Very good. Foolish Burial, already explained that. Medallion of the Ice Barrier just searches any Ice Barrier. One thing I like about these 2 archetypes is they both have magic cards between Medallion of the Ice Barrier that just searches any Ice Barrier, and Dinomist Charge that just searches any Dinomist monster. So it's very easy between these 6 magic cards to get to your monsters that you need. Plus, Dinomist Charge is also quite useful as well, because when you use your Dinomist ability to destroy themselves as opposed to the rest of your Dinomist monsters, you can just go ahead and add it back to your hand and then place it back in a pendulum scale again. Really nice combo there, which is what the archetype was designed for. Yeah, 3 medallions we had, and 2 Twin Twisters, just to get rid of magic and trap. Back row, pendulum scales, you name it. Pretty standard card. You could probably run it at 3. You'd have to drop something else. I like the ratio at 2. It seems to be pretty good. This deck has no problem getting through most of itself because of all the searchability. Like I said, 3 Dinomist Charge, 2 Sandstorm Mirror Force. Definitely, I know it's only 2 and not 3, but because of all the searchability in this deck, between Pteran, Medallion, and Dinomist Charge, it's you draw it pretty often, and it definitely saves you when your combos aren't quite happening like you like them to. And then I ran 2 Solemn Scolding. It's expensive, but they negate anything. I've seen a couple more people using them recently, and I really like the card. I find it pretty useful. You could substitute it for a Solemn Strikes, but Solemn Scolding is also significantly cheaper. You might want to go with a Solemn Scolding and a Warning, maybe, or maybe a Solemn Warning and another Sandstorm Mirror Force. But that's the way I went ahead and went with it for this deck build. Extra deck. All right, we already talked about Elder Entity Norden. Great for plays. Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon, you can only get him out because of Odd Eye's Absolute Dragon, who is a water rank 7. I like him. It can negate attacks, special summon an Odd Eye's monster from your hand or graveyard, which that doesn't generally come into play unless you brought him back with the Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark, and you had already brought out Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon. But when Absolute Dragon is destroyed, you can special summon 1 Odd Eye's monster from your extra deck, and that allows you to get out Vortex Dragon, which is pretty much a negate anything if you have monsters in your Pendulum Zone. So very good. You can really lock down an opponent, and it's level 7, so when you're done with it, you can go into another rank 7 play if you need. So that's pretty solid. Very seldom go into Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon, but it is a nice tool to have in the box. Of course, you got to have Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Get it out with Fishborg at any 2 level 4s. We already talked about Odd Eye's Absolute Dragon. Mermail Abyssgaios. Great card, really good for shutting down your opponent. This deck is pretty oppressive. It's both offensive and can shut your opponents down with options like Vortex, Abyssgaios, some of the traps. I'm sure there's more negates in here, but I cannot recall off the top of my head. We have Big Eye, staple, rank 7, gotta have that. I went for Ebon Illusion Magician, which actually is a way to get out, special summon Dragonpit from your deck, because he's a normal level 7 spellcaster. So you can go ahead and go into Ebon Illusion, get out Dragonpit, and maybe potentially, for one, use his ability to attack and then banish an opponent's monster, which works really well. Or go ahead and go into more rank 7 plays. Now for the rank 4 Xyz, we have Bahamut Shark for special summoning your Tri-Edge Levia, which then you use to go into the full armored Black-Ray Lancer. Number 37, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. I really like this monster at 2, but I didn't fit it in this extra deck. But you can kind of create an infinite loop, because aside from its fantastic effect of detaching 1 Xyz material from the card when any player declares an attack, all your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack, which is fantastic until the end of the turn. But also when it's destroyed, you can special summon 1 other monster in your graveyard. Any monster in your graveyard. So that's fantastic. You can infinite loop 2 of these guys, essentially, if they keep dying, because they just need to be destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard. So that's really solid. Ragna 0, this is a great combo. Just a great generic rank 4. During either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then attack, then target 1 face-up attack position your opponent's monster controls that does not have its original attack. Well, that sounds incredibly situational, but when you have Plesios on the field, your opponent's monsters lose attack and defense for each Dinomist card you control. So just having him on the field, as well as Ragna 0, means you can target any of their attack position monsters, because their attack is different from their original attack, usually. Destroy it and draw 1 card. Really easy way to gain advantage, and you can do it during either player's turn. Great play, great combo. Silent Honor Arc, fantastic card, and it's rank 4, so it fits right in the deck. It's water. We already talked about Black-Ray Lancer being summoned by Bahamut Shark through Tri-Edge Levia, but or you could summon it with 3 level 4 water monsters, but that's kind of expensive. It's good. It can sustain itself, and then it can also get rid of spell and trap cards. Abyss Dweller, another great card, and it boosts water monsters. Fits right in the deck. Gaga Cowboy for the burn, which occasionally helps you win the game. And Tri-Edge Levia, which is really just a floater and do full armored Black Ray Lancer. So that pretty much covered most of the combos in the deck, but let's go ahead and take a look at how it plays.